Hello and welcome to Gaia Blooming GPS. This is where we pull cards for the Astro week ahead. I am Mimi and I'm here with Nicole Oman.
Hi.
And we're going to dive in. We've got a pretty big week going on of shift. And we're starting off with the moon in Gemini. So the moon shifted into Gemini today. The moon in Gemini ignites our thinking energy, our thoughts and connection. And the first two cards that I pulled actually are so interesting in alignment with this. I pulled the receptivity card and I pulled the crown chakra card. So moon in Gemini usually is like thinking by our own volition, but I feel like this is saying, hey, the universe is wanting to communicate with you this Gemini moon. And this Gemini moon is so interesting because it is working in mutable cross energy. So if we get into our mind, you may find yourself we were just talking about this before, very undecided. You don't know what's really going on. You could go this way, you could go that way. The universe is saying it has a message for you. Get quiet, take some alone time so that you can receive the message. Pay attention to your ideas as they're messages of true divine guidance sent in answer to your prayers. So the aloneness card, moon in Gemini usually likes connection, but this may be a time to get a little quiet. And the other card that I pulled, also helpful for getting clarity, is playfulness. Nicole has it too. How perfect. So, if the quiet thing's not working, your mind's like monkey mind chatter. We're in the year of the monkey, so it would make sense. Do something that's fun, playful. Turn up the music, dance, go outside. It's gorgeous if you're in California right now. Do something that feels playful for you, because sometimes as soon as you get out of the winding thoughts of like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Boom, clarity comes because you're open and you're receptive, because you're not blocking it with all the neurotransmissions going on in there. Nicole?
Yeah, I have a very, very similar message. I have the inner wisdom, the Athena card. That's what I'm going to start with, because this is what Mimi said. So the reason why it's very important to know about that inner wisdom is because right now you're going off of knowledge. And so when you're trying to run your life off of knowledge of what you think you know, you're hitting roadblocks, and it's starting to feel kind of frustrating. But if you can go underneath that mind chatter, like Mimi was saying, you'll be able to be guided differently. So here's what I'm getting. I have this guilt card. So something in your life something you're doing is causing you guilt. But I think it might not be the action itself. I think it's the beliefs around the action. It's like there's something in your life that you're being guided to do, but you still have some societal norms that would make whatever you want to do, it might make you feel shameful or guilty. So what I'm getting is, if it's coming from your innocence, and it's coming from a playful nature, we're all connected to this thing. So it might be, I'm going to just do an example because it's the only thing that's popping up. It's like you might be guided to have an open relationship or something of this nature, and you have guilt around it. There's some weirdness, but then it's like, no, I'm being innocent. I'm being in my heart. I'm, being simple or innocent. It feels right, but I have all this judgment and guilt around it. Well, then you got to start letting that go and be birthed into something else. That could also be into the career. It's like, I want all my clients to come to me because it feels really weird. Ambition feels really weird because I feel, I'm in my heart, and ambition kind of feels very forceful. And it's like, well, you need to put yourself out there more. So stop feeling so guilty or shameful. Put yourself out there more. Then that's how it could be relaying in your life. And I don't know exactly what that is, but I know that whatever you're being guided to, you still have some guilt around. And I'm getting, yeah, and I think that I pulled the receptivity card. You know what? And I'll be honest with you, I think it's around sexuality. I think it's around relationships, and I think it's around sexuality. I think, if you are not gay and you are attracted to a woman right now, but you have a lot of shame around that, there's something that needs to be opened up. I know it's coming through around sexuality, and I'm not quite sure what it is.
Well, that's so perfect because we have Venus moving into Aquarius on Tuesday. So this is going to be, Venus in Aquarius opens up doors that were once taboo. Venus in Aquarius wants freedom. And it's interesting because, some of what you said, like a lot of what you said, I was like, oh, this could all be Venus and Aquarius energy. So Venus shifts into Aquarius tomorrow evening, Tuesday evening. And the first card that I actually pulled is the projections card. And I'm kind of going to piggyback off of what Nicole said about, relationships and the receptivity. You may have this, desire within. You're wanting to connect in a new way in relationships, whether it's with a female and you are a female, or a male and you are a male, or something. But there's projections, other people's projections, clinging to the past, old ideas of right and wrong. Rumi says, I've been quoting Rumi at the storm lately, out beyond right doing and wrongdoing, there's a field. I'll meet you there. That's the spirit of Venus in Aquarius. And speaking of Venus, I pulled the Lovers card as well. So you may have to get past some of these projections, some of this old stuff, some of these old walls, some of these old beliefs that you've pulled up to really get into this energy of the Lovers. Uranus rules Aquarius. It is breakthrough energy. So in the realm of Venus, whether it's your beauty, whether it's your worth, whether it's your talents, whether it is in relationships, there is some kind of breakthrough of these old paradigms that you need to go through. And I love from the angel therapy, I pulled shield yourself. Protect yourself from harsh or fear-based energies by envisioning a cocoon of healing light surrounding you. I feel like this really works with that, breakthrough energy with the projections card that I pulled of, oh, other people have this belief and I've taken it on as my own, but it's not really what I want. There's like this deeper desire going on within. And the final card that I have is maturity. And this is the card of the wholeness, your holiness, recognizing that your desires are holy, recognizing that you are worth having everything that you desire in your life. Fulfill your cocoon, fulfill your, your flowering garden. Look at this. Look at this figure, like surrounded in blooming flowers. So Venus in Aquarius could be a really interesting energy for us. But you got to be willing to embrace it. You got to be willing to get past those old paradigms, and you got to shield yourself from other people's thoughts that have held you back. I think that's one of the best thing about Aquarius. If there's a sign that's be able to like break out and break through, it is Aquarius. So with Venus in Aquarius, we have a beautiful opportunity for this. Nicole?
Yeah, I feel that, the message is pretty clear. So this is what I'm getting. I'm getting that you have some masks going on. And at first I was like, is it other people's masks or is it your own masks? And what I'm getting, it's a little bit of both, to be honest with you. But what I'm getting is there's some comparison going on. So you might be comparing yourself to other people, or what I'm really feeling is there's some judgment going on. There's a lot of judgment on yourself and other people. And what's interesting is as you judge people, you're going to find yourself in similar situations that you're judging, and you're starting to react like they reacted, the way that you judged. And you're going to have a little bit of humble pie is what I'm getting. And the only reason why this is going to feel hard and little murky is because of your own judgment. But if you just let it go and just realize, because I feel like you're being guided into receiving in a different way, and you're being guided to do things a different way, but you have so much judgment around it. It's more like, where is this judgment coming from? Like, did your mom have judgment on this, of whatever you're looking to go to, or did dad, or whatever? It's like, why are you holding such judgment for other people? Turn that back on yourself and realize that maybe that's exactly where you're getting pointed to go. And that might feel scary. And the reason why you feel so stuck and stagnant is because you're not willing to just let go of control and do that path that you're being guided to do, even though it's nothing that you ever thought you would want to do, ever. But now you're being guided to, and the synchronicities keep going around, and you have to just break free and allow yourself to really get connected to your true nature. And this is, you're a magical person who can manifest your clear intentions into reality. But this is a person who gets connected to nature. And as they connect to nature, they find their own nature. There's something that you're denying in yourself that you don't even want to look at. And it might be so hidden because you've lied to yourself so deeply that easy does it. Take your time. Don't rush through it, because this is like breaking out of an egg. It's like you have to crack yourself open and be willing to see the light. And your eyes might hurt because it's the first time you're really starting to see that. So it might be a little uncomfortable. Take your time, take it easy. But there's an old belief or old something or other that needs to be shattered, or at least cracked open, because you're being guided to something that you are resisting.
That resistance.
Right. Trust me, I know. I mean, it's a little different in where I'm going. It's not around necessary relationships, but I can feel that friggin' resistance. It's killer. But it's like, you got to get out of your comfort zone. You have to get out of your comfort zone. It's like,
yeah, seriously. All right, so speaking of comfort zone, we have the moon shifting into Cancer. And if there's a place where we're like, I don't want to get out of my comfort zone, it's when energy moves into Cancer. So moon in Cancer on Wednesday. And I have to mention, this moon in Cancer is helping us finish up Sun in Aquarius and enter into Sun in Pisces. So we're going to have strong, really strong water energy with the Sun, Sun, Neptune, Chiron in Pisces, Moon in Cancer, and then Mars, which is entering its shadow period. Mars is going retrograde this year, and it's entering its shadow period. So we're going to have some strong, emotional, watery energy going on with the moon shifting into Cancer. And the first card that I pulled with this is actually the sharing card. And what I'm likening this to is, with this moon in Cancer, it may be time to not run from those feelings. It may be time to really get in there, listen to them, find a good friend, talk about them, share the light of what's going on feeling-wise within yourself. And I pulled the Master card. This is going to help you master some stuff by really getting into these feelings. The other thing that I pulled, though, and I think this comes up when you explore like feelings and things going on, I pulled the Cut Your Cords card from the Angel Therapy. It says, ask Archangel Michael to clear any attachments from fear that stem from past relationships, or freeing you from destructive patterns. I think when we actually are willing to get into our emotions, we can see, oh, wait, this is where I'm kind of being an empath, picking up other people's stuff, taking it on. So you got to be willing to go there and be present with yourself to really recognize where you may need to cut some of these cords, or maybe it may even be time for some boundaries. Mars going into its shadow period, we may be seeing boundaries. I need to put up some boundaries, protect the soft parts of myself at this time. I also pulled the Fool card. So we're starting a new journey with this moon in Cancer. And I think this might be a new journey of being open, a new journey of honoring the feelings on a whole other level. All this water energy is like, you can't resist, you can't resist, you can't resist any longer. So you might as well get in there and start doggy paddling and floating, because it's starting a new path. And I'm optimistic about this. Optimistic like a Sagittarius about this. Nicole?
Well, then I'll go to the Virgo side.
Okay.
And I'll be the realist. No, okay. I'll go heavier. I just want to show you the spread because it says a lot. So we've got some things going on. So this is what we have for this Wednesday Cancer moon. And before I go to it, the first thing I want to say is I got the Maeve card, which says honor your rhythms and cycles of your body. So just know that I think this is just for a Cancer moon. So don't freak out when you see these cards, because it's like, yeah, you're going to go through a little bit of a dip cycle. And so this is what it is. So you know what we were saying before is like there's something there that you don't want to look at. Well, I think this Cancer thing is going to bring up the emotion of it. I have the Sorrow card and the Isolation. So I think it's going to bring up the emotion of it. And you might not fully understand what it's connected to yet, or you might. I'm not sure. But you will feel it. And you're not allowed to unlock yourself from this cage yet. And it's not necessarily time to change it yet. It's actually this Cancer, so about 2.5 days. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I would say until that moon shifts into Leo, I'd say that you might have to feel this. You might feel the anger, you might feel the guilt, you might feel the sadness, you might feel apathetic. I'm not sure, but you will feel it in some way. And it's not to be moved, manipulated, or changed. It's supposed to be felt. Because you really need to feel the things that are a little scary. And, I was reading something with Matt Kahn. Matt Kahn is this healer speaker gentleman. And he says that in those places of guilt or shame, that's where you don't give yourself less love. You don't punish yourself. You need more love, not less. And that's what I want to say. When this pops up, this is the little crevices that you need more love, not less. More love, not less. Because you're not going to change it yet. It's a cycle. For those 3 days, you need to feel it. Don't be scared. It's not going to kill you. You just got to let it come up. It's just making you aware of what needs to be changed. Because then you can finally have that awareness and go, oh, at least I know what it is now. Now, give yourself a couple days, and then you might need to take action. I'm not sure what the cards are going to say, but you might be able to take action a little bit later, but not in those 3-day cycle. Maybe that full moon coming up.
Probably. Full moon will probably help. All right. So next, Sun into Pisces. We're in the final sign of the zodiac this week in Pisces. The Sun moves into Pisces. What time? 9:34 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday evening. And I'm going to start with my angel card. Be willing to forgive. Ask the angels to clear your mind, body of past pain in exchange for peacefulness. Pisces is the sign of compassion and forgiveness. I actually think that this goes really well with the moon in Cancer. You may have to work to forgive yourself with some of the stuff, some of the emotions that are coming up. But I pulled another interesting card with this. I pulled the Six of Cups, the Dream card. And this, you have it too? I love us. This is a card that can represent past relationships. So you may have some of these feelings might be around past relationships, not just past romantic relationships, but your relationships with your parents, how you dreamed they could have been, or past relationships that worked or didn't work, that you still have some pain around. This may be a time of lightening that load, having the courage to face the emotions that are coming up around this, being willing to forgive yourself. Nicole, I'll let her go into this more, but the Ho'oponopono thing is just coming up. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you for the part these relationships have played in our life. Because I really believe every relationship has the potential to wound us or show us our wounding, but also at the same time magically help us in our growth. So there's beauty in all the relationships, in the pain, in the beauty, and you just gotta be willing to work with it. And I pulled the Success card. So I feel like, again, if you're willing to feel, if you're willing to go in, if you're willing to hold space for the forgiveness, there is so much success. I feel like this is like the card of yes, I have conquered those demons, and here I go, like, into my future, into, like, feeling the joy of being fulfilled by the universe. But first, you got to take those steps. The compassion, the forgiveness energy that Pisces brings along for yourself and for others. Nicole?
Yeah, and I got the healing card. So the Ho'oponopono would be wonderful around this because I have the dream, I have the laziness, and I have the burden card. And what they're trying to say is, as all of this emotion, and it's most of my cards are water emotion cards. And as all this starts to process up, where does it go? Do we allow it to be a burden? Do we allow it to be more heavy on us and weigh on us more? And then, you're giving yourself unrealistic expectations of like, oh, I'm just going to forget it happened, or I'm going to avoid it. But it can. I mean, it's water. It's going to push itself up. So you can either think of it as a burden, or you can start allowing to heal yourself. And like Mimi said, I'm actually writing a book on the Ho'oponopono right now. And you can look more into it. But really, the 4 basic steps, the first basic step that you need is the I'm sorry part, where you start taking responsibility that you've carried on this emotional burden. And then you got to forgive yourself for the way you're showing up for yourself or for other people because of this emotional burden that you're having on yourself. And yes, you might have gotten it in an innocent space. You might have gotten it in a childhood relationship with your parents. You might have been a victim of abuse. You might have been, a victim of abuse in relationships, or a relationship, was verbally abusive, and you're carrying around some thoughts that are not your own. And I'm not telling you to take responsibility or fault for the actual incident. What I am saying, though, is you are responsible for the way you treat yourself now. You have to get into the present on the way that it's showing up in your life now, because you are responsible for your own happiness. If you wait for someone else to apologize for the way the world has treated you, you're going to wait for a very long time. And you might need to ask for forgiveness from God or yourself or whatever they may be, that you can have that come within you now. And then you go into gratitude. You might start seeing your victim scenario in a new perspective that didn't hinder you, but also allowed you to break free of it now and not continue the pattern onto your children or to your relationships, but be able to transmute it. And every time that you take responsibility for your 2%, whatever that is, doesn't matter what it is, it could be 2% is I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. You allow things to break free, and you allow yourself to break free of the chains of victimhood and center yourself more into being the savior you've been looking for. And then with that, then you're able to receive more support. And there's the love. I love you. You're always in a vibration of love. The hard thing is when we carry these burdens, we can't feel that vibration of love because we're so heavy. So we might be swimming in the ocean, but because it's so heavy, we feel like we're just sunk on the bottom of the sea. We're stuck on the bottom. But what we want to break those chains free so you can actually enjoy your experience. I hope that makes sense. I know it was a little all over the place. But I'm sorry is taking responsibility for your 2%, not anybody else's fault. Forgive me, or I forgive you. I forgive you if you are a victim in that situation. If you can give forgiveness to that, you just broke your chains, my dear. And that's the truth. Thank you. Gratitude. I trust you again, universe. I'm sorry for not trusting. And then I love you. I love you. Love yourself. I love you. Even though you went through all that, I still love you. And you can break yourself free. There's the healing. Okay. Be strong. You're stronger than you think you are. You're stronger than you think you are. I promise you are. Be strong.
I love it. That's so perfect. And it's so perfect again. Like I feel like all of these things are like feeding into each other so perfectly because we then have the moon shifting into Leo on Friday. And Leo, when we have the moon in Leo, so first of all, the moon in Leo is helping us build into the full moon in Virgo that's going to be happening Monday morning. So the moon in Leo is going to be like, you know, as the moon builds, the craziness comes up. So we have that going on. Not to mention that, gotta say, if there's two signs that are the most dramatic, and I love you for it because these are two of my favorite signs, I would say that it's Pisces and Leo. So moon in Leo, building to full moon, inner child, this forgiveness energy, it could get like this. I pulled the intensity card. It may feel a little dramatic moving through this. I also pulled the suppression card. Your inner child, based on like what you may need to be forgiving with this, you know, Pisces energy, forgiving and healing, there may be a part of your inner child that has been suppressed. And she's like, nuh-uh, no more. I am breaking free. I just need to break free. And sometimes that comes in the form of temper tantrums. But I also pulled really beautifully the awareness card, the innocence card, which is the sun card, and the source card. And Nicole has it too. I love us today. So this is the core. This is the core of your inner child. This is the core of that being. So even if your inner child goes break free, suppression, intensity, temper tantrum mode, this is the core of it. And I feel like sometimes, I don't think that it's necessary to have a tantrum to break free, but sometimes it's necessary to have a tantrum to break free. Sometimes you need to kick your feet and scream and shout and get it on out. I think my advice is like, don't take it out on somebody. Recognize this is as a responsible adult. This is your process. Doesn't mean that don't talk to somebody if there's something that needs to be said. Just I feel like don't suppress somebody else in order to like break yourself free. So, you know, maybe take some of that aloneness, take some time that we, you know, said earlier this to get in touch with the source of you, the innocence within you. Get awareness around where this has come from and how you've cultivated it. And beyond all that, listen to your intuitive feelings around it. Your body is receiving accurate messages from the divine. So, you know, this could be a really interesting process with all these cards, but honor your process in it. Nicole?
I get the exact same message. Now, I just told you about the Ho'oponopono, and I know it might trigger something as I talk about the victim. It's been really hard for me to write this book because I have to talk a lot about the victim. And I know that when you've been through abuse in your life, it's real. That word is such a trigger word. Look, I fully understand that. 100%. I had a couple drinks the other night with a friend, and I was playing a game that I used to play with my mom, and an old experience was triggered within me because I remember this game is very old. It was my mother's, and me and her, we used to play this game, and when my father would come home drunk late, if he was in a bad mood, that game would be pushed on the floor and thrown all over the place. And I knew I was in for a very long night. And it triggered me, and I told her the story, and I realized I don't talk about the details of the abuse that I went through. Wow, I'm getting emotional, as a child. And if that gets triggered in you, I know the victim gets triggered. But that's where vulnerability lies, and that's where the gold lies. I don't teach this out of know-it-all. I teach it out of personal experience of what I went through. And if you went through abuse, the only way to free yourself from it, the victim has to go through the old trauma, not relive it, but through it to break free. And I see a lot of resistance to that where you're like, why do I have to do that? Why do I have to do it? I was the victim in that situation. I hear you, but it's the only way to break yourself free. You can stay in that like, why do I have to do it? But it's not going to make it any better. And it's not going to make it any easier for you. You have to go through it. You have to be courageous. I pulled it again. You're stronger than you think you are. I promise. I know you don't want to trust this, but I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to downplay what you went through and the realness of what the victim feels. But you have to forgive. It's the only way that's going to break those chains. I know it's not your favorite thing. I know it's very vulnerable, deep childhood issues. I get it. I'm in the boat. I understand. But you have to, like Mimi said, you got to share. Because you know what? As you start breaking free and you share those things, you give other people the courage to look at those really horrible things inside of themselves that happened. But then if you just break free from them, they don't have the power anymore. But if you stay in the victim, they do. And it can run your life. Do you want to have that same scenario that happened so many years ago continue to run your life to this day? Absolutely not. So this is the way. I know it's hard, but this is the way. You're going to want to negotiate and try to find every other way to get out of it. The only way through is in. Only way through it. The only way is through it and in, and then you can break free. You can't go over it. You can't go under it. You can't sidestep it. There is the gold. That's where the light is. You can't avoid it. Don't let it run your life anymore. You don't want to give them that power anymore. Heal it. Not fix it, but heal it.
I love that. Heal it. Such amazing opportunity in this astro. And we're capping it off. I know, this week. Like, what is this week? We're capping it off with a full moon next Monday. The full moon is happening at 10:20 a.m. It's happening at 3 degrees Virgo. So 3 degrees, we know that to be that expansive degree. So this is a big full moon. And in Virgo, it's the sign of our physical body. So I feel like all this energy this week has been kind of leading us up to this full moon, to feeling what we got to feel in our body, work through it. Full moons are an amazing time for release. And as of this full moon, we're preparing to start getting into eclipse season. We're going to begin in, I think the next moon after that? Let me look really quick. Yeah, the next moon is an eclipse. So we're in the beginning stages of eclipse season, which, each eclipse takes us, a few hundred more steps, deeper into our process. So here we go. And this week is like totally leading us in. And the card that I pulled is flowering. Look at this. There's that full moon. And from showing up, being present in all this process that we just took you through in this week, you are flowering. You're blooming into amazing possibilities. Look at this eagle flying on high, seeing from this other perspective. I feel like when we go in and through, like Nicole said, we then can have this higher perspective of having been there. And that just helps us keep flowering, blooming. I also pulled the card of change. So there's some big shift energy in this full moon. But I really feel very strongly you've got to be present with yourself, with your physical body, and honor what it's feeling. I'm going to mention the Sabian symbol really quickly because I think it's always so interesting. The Sabian symbol is 2 guardian angels. And the keynote is invisible help and protection in times of crisis. And so I feel like this is saying, hey, you're not alone in this. You're not alone in your blooming. I love the saying from the Talmud, every blade of grass has an angel whispering over it, grow, grow. And so this is reminding you of this through this process of this week, in and through this full moon and any release that's coming in this full moon, your angels are with you. And I feel like it's also reminding us of the angelic energy that we all carry. I believe, I don't know if we're all angels, if there's angels and fairies, but regardless, like there's angel energy with you. There's angel energy even in you, even if you're not completely all angel, even if you're angel, fairy, hybrid, mermaid, elephant, whatever you consider yourself to be, recognize that divine energy that is in you, carrying through. You're never alone. And from angel therapy, I pulled emotional sensitivity. Honor and respect your deep sensitivity as it is a gift to us all. You know, that Virgo moon energy can be very practical, but with everything that we've gone through this week and with the fullness of the moon, which just heightens all the emotions, you may be really feeling it and you may not be feeling very practical. So honor what the universe is asking you to move through and honor your emotions and take it easy on yourself and recognize any energies that are around you that maybe you want to stay away from in this full moon energy in order to honor your emotional sensitivity. If somebody can't hear you out, that's fine. They don't have to. Like, take care of yourself. Show up for yourself. Be responsible for yourself. Nicole?
Yeah, I got some big cards. I got the new vision, control, and creativity. So this is what I'm getting for this full moon. I do feel a rebirth. I feel a resurgence. So know what that dark moon is. We had quite a build on this one, right? So we're getting to a really deep core issue here. So I think you're going to rebirth that. But you have a choice. You can either go into more control, because that Virgo likes to, like, I know I'm a Virgo, guys. There's either way to birth it, because we're the healers of the zodiac. And you can really be creative and be feminine, that virgin, that purity of yourself. Or you can analyze it to death and criticize it and be controlling. That's an option that you do, that you would, that you get to decide what you want to do. But there is a new vision for yourself, a new perspective that there's an opportunity that you will have for this full moon. And what I got is you can let go of that burden now. It's in reverse. It's not as heavy. You can realize that all of this, that mentality that you were holding on to was just a cock on your head. And you might meet somebody, I have the participation card, that went through it too, that feels supported. Or you reach out to your siblings who went through the same thing you went through, and you guys support each other and be compassionate to each other's plight, or whatever, or find the right friends that would be able to hold your back, because of what you went through, you don't feel like you can trust anybody. And you might find that through this full moon, it's time to trust other people, get support, even maybe find a therapist or a healer or a coach or something that you can let this all go and realize that you might not be able to do all of the change by yourself. That's okay, because when we get support, we're never supposed to do it alone anyway. You just find the right people to do it, right? Make sure that they can support you in that way. But I feel like with these cards, I really do feel like you'll be able to find that. I also have the abundance card. So this is also, you might be frustrated that you haven't been able to unlock that abundance. Well, this is the very thing that might be holding you back from allowing yourself to receive new prosperity. Also, I have the peace card. There's no need to worry. Everything is working out beautifully now. So I feel like that dark moon will bring up some stuff. That Cancer moon is going to bring up a lot of those emotions. And I feel like there's going to be a build, and you're going to know what it is. And then that full moon in Virgo is going to be able to go, because Virgo and Pisces, that's a big full moon. Pisces is God, that kind of God energy. And then I feel like Virgo's Mother Earth. That's my own opinion of it, or daughter of Mother Earth, if you will. And I feel like it's like this, the father and mother coming together in a way of reality, the etherical world and reality coming in. So this is a really, and as Virgo is the healer of the zodiac, so you have a very big potential to heal a very core subconscious wounding. And this could be karmatic, because this is Pisces. Pisces is big with karma. It's big with past life. So this, whatever if it happened in childhood, that means it was a story that was continuing from a past life. This is why we also can take responsibility, because we don't remember what we did, but we came in with some kind of past karma stuff that needed to be worked through. So it's a continuation. So this is a very big opportunity, and especially with that eclipse that Mimi was talking about, it's going to be big because it's also going to be opposing Jupiter and Virgo, right? So it's going to highlight the crap out of it. So this is an amazing time. Amazing. You don't even know, to heal a past life karma. You are going to break bonds that have been keeping you stuck for lifetimes in these next couple weeks. So allow it to come up. Don't be scared. Like I said, I kept getting those strength cards, but don't worry about it. It's happening and it's beautiful, and you don't have to force it. It's going to come up whether you like it or not. It's a big week. It's a big week. And I think, like I said, I got that participation card. You're not the only one going through it. And if you have some people in this community, better off because they're aware that it's going through and they're not just floundering because it's happening and they don't know what's happening. At least they have a sense of what's going on.
Exactly. Having a sense. That's why we do this, because it helps so much. Like, that's why I started doing this, because it helped me so much to be like, oh, this is going on. Okay, it's not permanent, but this is how I can work through it. This is what we're here to do. And speaking of that, Nicole and I have for the next 2 weeks left our reading special for the two of us, 2-on-1 with you, to dive into this and help you work through anything that you may be working through. And we're both, really good at getting in there and bringing light to it, showing you what's happening on the astral realms, working it out with cards, and then both of us are extremely intuitive and good at getting in there. So book a reading with us. Get it going. Let's dive in and let's heal this. Let's heal this crap.
Yeah, you don't want to do it again. Yeah, you don't want to do this for another lifetime. Like let's get rid of it and let's just break free of it. You know what I mean? You can live in a victim mentality if you really want to. I did it for years. It's obnoxious. It's exhausting. And it's hard to, it is, you go through a healing cycle. But I'll tell you what, once it's done and you look around, you see the beauty that you created because you got out of it. Dude, it's worth it. I promise. I'm living proof. I'm not doing this. I don't do what I do because I think it's sunshines and rainbows and that's it. I do it because I know it works. I know that going through this, and I'm realistic. There's pain and shit and life's messy. Like I said this to a friend of mine today. I go, she was going through something. I said, look, life's messy. Just remember how you got here. Your birth process wasn't pretty, was it? It's pretty messy. Ask your mama. She'll tell you. So life wasn't supposed to be all clean, Virgo, but allow yourself to be in the mess and allow yourself to be able to sort yourself out through that mess. There's no mess too big that can't be cleaned up. You just got to go, oh, I made a mess. No biggie. Let's clean this shit up. It's all right. It's all right. You can forgive yourself and you can forgive other people. And we're all just trying to do the best we can. We're so cut, this dimension is so cut off from spirit world. So you can feel so lonely and you can feel so abandoned and you can feel so just in your own shit and think you're the only one that's going through that. But I promise you, I 100% promise you that it's more, it's not as rare as you think it is. What you are going through, other people are going through too. And if you open up and allow yourself to go through it, you open up other people to stop their suffering and their struggle. You don't want to struggle anymore, right? Let's not struggle anymore. Let's enjoy this shit. We're here. Why not? So allow yourself to break free. I promise you. You won't. It's not going to take you out. You're going to be good. The fear is scarier than what will actually happen. I hope that made sense. It did.
It made sense. It made total sense.
Okay.
So if that made sense to you too, book a reading with Nicole and I, or Nicole or I, whatever feels right for you. Check out our daily horoscope, daily guidance, GaiaBlooming.com, NicoleOmen.com. Check us out. We're here to support you in and through this. So that's it for me. Do you have anything else?
No, I'm good. Sorry, that little rant came out in the last.
You always got to get the rant in. The rant has to happen just has to happen.
Gotta go. The rant's gotta come out.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Namaste.
Namaste.